to really understand a culture, you've got to be able to observe. The more information you can get about the people in the society you're visiting, the better. Specifically their behavioral patterns, because their behavioral patterns, their observable behavior patterns are the culture. So if we break that down, you could think about pace and how quickly people respond and react to one another within a society. Some societies move very slowly. Others are very rapid and quick. I'll just use the US as an example. So if you think about New York City, people are on the move, they're working, they're trying to get ahead in life. And so the pace of interaction between one person and the next is going to be very rapid. And if you sat down in a park, or if you went to just a coffee store, you would see just how quick the interactions are. Someone has an order, they place the order, the person takes the order, gets their coffee to them or gets their sandwich to them, and the person working at the coffee shop or deli or whatever, they know the person has a very tight time frame, and so they don't waste their time trying to talk to them, see how they're doing. They know that that would annoy the person who's just trying to get work and trying to get to work and trying to hit the deadline at work, and etc., etc. They know that this person is tight on time, that they're just there for the sandwich, that they're not there for any sort of interaction or really to feel good. They just want the sandwich and they want to get out of there. Now, if you go to a different part of, I'll just use the US again as an example, you go to the South, there is less of an emphasis on pace. There's less of an emphasis on efficiently getting things done, and there's more of a emphasis on relationship and on context, and on social etiquette. So the pace of life and the pace of interactions in the South is going to be observably slower than the pace of the interactions in New York City. There's also going to be more words spoken, both from the person going to the coffee shop or the grocery store or whatever it is, and the cashier who's checking them out. It will feel a little bit more like neighborhoodly, like everybody's friends. And there's a reason for that, and the reason is that they're building and developing social context as they're communicating with one another, and that's culture. The that back and forth communication between those two people and that building the social context is the social norm. Now, if you try to do that in New York City, it wouldn't work. If you were, say, a Southerner and you're used to that slower interaction and a how are you and talking for maybe 20 seconds before getting your coffee or sandwich or whatever it is, you would feel the pressure of the people behind you in line, and you'd also feel the pressure of the cash register person who's trying to cash you out as quickly as possible so that they can get to the next person who's trying to cash out and who's also in a rush. And if you try to do that, how are you, and extend the conversation, they just wouldn't allow it. They would just be one worded about it, say I'm good, and that's it. That's the end of the interaction right there. Whereas if you're in the South, the cash register person would be more like, oh, I'm good, and I'm working on my garden, and they would just kind of start conversating. Distinctly different interactions. The power of knowing the local culture is knowing how to interact with it and knowing why socially some things will work for you and socially some things won't, and then being able to navigate through that culture with a firm understanding of how it works and how to efficiently navigate the system, and having more enjoyable experiences and interactions with people. So if you went to New York City, you know, okay, I just ordered my pizza, they get it, you know, it's bing bang boom, it's I'd like a slice, okay, no problem, go to the cash register and pay, and that's all. Whereas if you're in the South, you go down, you say, oh, I'd like a slice of pizza, and the person starts talking to you about the pizza or the weather, and so then you engage in that conversation about the weather or the pizza, and then you finally get to checking out, and now that person at the register wants to tell you about some story that happened to them, or maybe do a complaint about their life to you, or share something about themselves. And then you realize now you're in that social context with them, and you can either decide to participate in it and maybe share, you know, a life's problem with them, or you can decide to not engage in that cultural back and forth with them, and just, you know, say, oh, that's too bad. So to engage with that culture, you would share the life problem, and now that's established a human connection of, oh, you know, we're both human, we both have human problems, now we feel this togetherness. Or you could just not, and just kind of leave them hanging, which is fine, you know, you don't have to, you're not from there. But knowing the social context allows you to decide whether you want to engage or not, and it also heightens your awareness of what's going on, as opposed to being in that situation and being confused as to what to do. If you know the context, you have options, and you can make choices and decisions based off that context, which is it's good all around.